The world's most dangerous waterway just got a new guardian, and nobody saw it coming. A country fighting for its own survival on its own soil against one of the largest military machines on Earth just became the security backbone of the wealthiest oil states on the planet. No, this is not fiction. This is happening right now, and the country pulling this off is Ukraine. If that sounds impossible to you, stay with this video, because what's unfolding in the Gulf will completely change how you see this war, this region, and the future of global power. If you follow this channel, you already know we break down these stories daily before they hit mainstream headlines. Hit that like button right now so this reaches more people who need to see it. Look at your map. 3 of the most explosive pressure points in modern geopolitics, the Strait of Hormuz, the Persian Gulf, and the 4-year killing field of eastern Ukraine, are now connected by a single thread. That thread is Iran. Tehran believes it holds the world hostage through one narrow maritime choke point. More than 20% of the global oil supply squeezes through the Strait of Hormuz every single day. Iran knows that sinking just one tanker in those waters would detonate global energy markets overnight, sending oil prices into triple digits before the smoke clears. For years, that threat has kept Gulf monarchies nervous, Washington scrambling, and global shipping companies bleeding billions in insurance premiums. But something just shifted, something that Iran never modeled in any war game, never prepared for, never even considered possible. Ukraine walked onto the map. Think about what that actually means for a moment. A nation that, just 2 years ago, was begging the world for ammunition and air defense batteries, is today deploying battle-hardened soldiers, cutting-edge drone systems, and naval mine-hunting warships to protect Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, and Kuwait. The Gulf states, some of the richest governments on the planet, are not calling Washington's bureaucratic arms procurement offices. They are calling Kyiv, and Kyiv is answering. Share this video right now, because what Ukraine is building in the Middle East is one of the most consequential and underreported military stories of this decade. Here is where it gets deeply technical and deeply fascinating. The centerpiece of Ukraine's air defense contribution to the Gulf is what's being called the Skymap project, anchored at Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. This is not an ordinary military facility. It is the operational nerve center of American military power in the entire Middle East, home to Boeing E-3 Sentry AWACS early warning aircraft, F-35 fighters, and over 13 KC-135 Stratotanker aerial refueling aircraft. Lose this base, and the United States loses its eyes, its reach, and its air superiority across the entire region simultaneously. Iran knows this. And Iran's weapon of choice to threaten it is devastatingly simple. Cheap, low-flying Shahed-type kamikaze drones launched in massive swarms that overwhelm traditional radar systems by flying below their detection floor. The attack last March proved that even Patriot missile batteries, systems worth hundreds of millions of dollars, can be bypassed by a $50 drone flying at rooftop level. That revelation sent shockwaves through the Pentagon, and the solution they found was not American, it was Ukrainian. Ukraine's answer to the drone swarm problem did not come from a billion-dollar defense contractor. It came from 4 years of brutal daily battlefield necessity. The Skymap system deploys a network of over 10,000 acoustic sensors, listening devices that began their life as converted smartphone microphones and have since evolved into specialized military-grade hardware developed under Ukraine's Brave One innovation program. These sensors are buried in desert sand, mounted on base perimeter fences hidden behind dunes, and concealed inside abandoned structures. In temperatures exceeding 120 degrees Fahrenheit, through blinding sandstorms, they listen. The moment a Shahed drone engine hums within range, the system captures that acoustic signature and, within a tenth of a second, an AI-powered command and control platform distinguishes it from wind noise, generator hum, or bird wings. The AI maps the drone's route, calculates its speed, predicts its target, and scrambles low-cost interceptor drones. Systems like the American RTX Coyote and Ukraine's own Merops platform, to intercept and destroy the threat before a single expensive missile needs to be fired. Right now, at Prince Sultan Air Base, American soldiers are being trained on this system by Ukrainian experts who learned it the hardest way possible, by surviving it on their own front lines. But the sky is only half the battlefield. Now turn your eyes to the water. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most mine-vulnerable shipping corridors on Earth. Iran's strategy is cold, calculated, and economical. Lay contact mines in the dark, wait, and let global panic do the rest. A single detonation beneath a liquefied natural gas tanker or a Saudi oil supertanker doesn't just sink a ship. It detonates energy markets, triggers diplomatic crises, and hands Tehran an enormous psychological victory without firing a single missile. Ukraine has spent 4 years clearing thousands of Russian mines from the Black Sea, the most operationally intense naval mine clearance campaign since World War II. That experience is now being redirected to Hormuz. 4 NATO-standard Ukrainian mine-hunting vessels, freshly trained at the UK's Portsmouth Naval Base, are standing ready for deployment. A 5th ship, being transferred from the Netherlands, is days away from joining the fleet. These Sandown and Alkmaar-class vessels are engineering marvels, constructed with near-zero magnetic signatures using specialized fiberglass hulls so they don't trigger the very mines they're hunting. Their remotely operated underwater vehicles can map the entire seabed, locate threats, plant targeted charges, and detonate them from a safe distance, compressing what used to be a weeks-long mine clearance operation into hours with zero risk to human life. And the naval dimension goes even further than mine clearance. Ukraine is also offering its Marichka and Sea Baby unmanned surface vessels, naval drones that became legends by striking Russian warships hundreds of miles away in the Black Sea, to Gulf nations for active patrol duty around commercial shipping lanes. These vessels reach speeds of 50 miles per hour, operate in coordinated wolfpack formations, and can be configured both to detect mines on civilian routes and to intercept Iranian Revolutionary Guard speedboats before they close on a target. The moment Iranian fast attack craft appear on the horizon, these drones can force a course change without firing a shot, simply by making a suicide dive at high speed toward the approaching threat. No engagement, no escalation, just deterrence through credible unmanned force. What makes all of this so historically extraordinary is the strategic exchange underpinning it. Ukraine is not handing over technology out of charity. Behind every sensor network, every mine hunter, every drone operator deployed to the Gulf, there are long-term agreements being negotiated and signed. Multi-billion-dollar, decade-long defense industry deals with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE. Direct cash transfers, energy supply guarantees, promises of advanced missile technology and ammunition manufacturing investment, resources Ukraine desperately needs to sustain its own war. Over 200 Ukrainian drone operators and military advisors are currently deployed across Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, and Jordan, training local forces in the precise battlefield doctrine that has kept Ukraine alive against impossible odds. Kyiv is simultaneously fighting for its survival and exporting the product of that survival to the world's most strategically critical region. This is the most extraordinary geopolitical pivot of the 21st century. The losers in this picture are clear. Russia, which spent years positioning itself as the indispensable alternative arms supplier to the Middle East, selling S-400 systems and cultivating influence from Damascus to Riyadh, is now watching Ukraine, the country it invaded, displace it from that exact market. Iran, which built its entire regional deterrence strategy around the threat of drone swarms and naval mines, is watching its asymmetric advantage being systematically dismantled by a country that learned to counter those exact weapons under live fire. The lesson being delivered to both Moscow and Tehran is one they cannot argue with. In modern warfare, what wins is not the most expensive system. What wins is the most battle-tested one. There is a question underneath all of this that nobody in mainstream media is asking yet, and it is the one that will define the next 5 years of global power. If Ukraine can fight a full-scale land war against Russia while simultaneously becoming the primary security architect of the Persian Gulf, what does that say about where real military power now lives? Not in trillion-dollar procurement budgets, not in the slow machinery of congressional approval. In the minds of soldiers who have spent 4 years solving impossible problems with whatever they had. Drop your answer in the comments. Do you think Iran will attempt to strike Ukrainian assets in the Gulf once they realize what is being built there? Or does Ukraine's presence actually prevent the next major Middle East crisis before it starts? If you want this level of daily, ground-level geopolitical analysis delivered before anyone else covers it, you already know what to do. If this is the kind of depth and clarity you want every single day, subscribing takes 2 seconds, and it keeps content like this reaching people who actually want to understand what is reshaping the world.